Get up, you son of a bitch! Cause Pawn's drunk loves ya.
Let's go. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Happy Monday. Pawn's drunk. Let's go. Boxing. Woo. Lot of news, lot of news, lot of news. Lot of fights, lot of fights, lot of fights. Let's go.
Let me tell you what I need. I need money, don't need fame. No beef, no 50, no game. I am the I keep it with all my might.
Come on now.
I don't even need no music. Uno, dos, tres. No music.
Let's go, let's go. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Come on.
Music.
Let's go, let's go.
No music. Let's get ready to
You already know this is Pawn's Drunk Boxing, aka Mr. Moonshine himself, aka El Adobo, aka El Sazón, aka El Borracho, aka Café Bustelo, aka El Pastor de Boxeo. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are at this side of heaven. God bless you all. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Boxing is getting very, very exciting, bruh. Boxing is getting very, very exciting. I told y'all, like, again, I'm going to keep on saying that 2026, I believe, is going to be an historic year in the sport of boxing. Man. And we're going to be talking about an entity in which a lot of people in the boxing community have been saying that PBC is done. Haymon is done. PBC is sinking. PBC is finished. PBC don't got a home. PBC is this. PBC is done. PBC, nah. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe that PBC is going to be taking over 2026. Yeah. Some of y'all gonna like it. I don't understand why some of y'all may not like it. Because at the end of the day, I want every boxing entity to be good. Because then that means we're going to get more boxing. That means more fighters got opportunities. That means more for us and for me, more for me as a boxing content creator, and then more for you as the listeners, and the followers and the subscribers, and the viewers, right? The more they give us, the more I give y'all. That's the great thing about the sport of boxing and boxing content creator, independent media, whatever you want to call it, independent journalism, whatever y'all want to call us. Devin BK in the building. Caesar, Mexico. What's good? We game all nights in the building. What's good, man? Al in the building. Linda from the UK. Yeah, man. Ladies and gentlemen, hold on. Let me take this thing out of the way. Hold on. PBC taking over 2026. Yeah, man. Shout out to Sufa. They doing their thing. They signing fighters. They just signed Conor McGregor for $15 million. All right, good. Let's shout out to Manchun Boxing. They just signed Bam Rodriguez. And let me tell you like this, man. I said this a while ago, too. Tasha in the building. I said this a while ago, too. I said, Turki Alalshikh, he ain't going to be funding like he used to fund. He ain't going to be splurging like he used to splurge. Nah, man. Also going to be talking about Clarissa Shields, saying that she want to have a baby. She want Papoos's baby. She want Papoose polvo. That's what she wants in her. Papoose. She want Papoos's polvito. We're going to be talking about that. Hey, this is boxing at the end of the day. I was just reading a comment right now in one of my videos and stuff like that. You don't punch drunk. You know what I'm saying? Hold on. Check this out. I want to highlight this. Give me a sec. I want to highlight this. I want to highlight this. Smash that like button, ladies and gentlemen. Smash the like. I want to highlight this. Hold on. Give me a second. All right. Because I get comments like this and I'm like, really? Hold on. Let me read this to y'all, bro. I'm tired of these comments. I'm tired of these comments, bro. All right. Shout out to DJ Curtis, right? So DJ Curtis, I just dropped the video with the Clarissa Shields. She want to have a baby by Papoose by the end of the year, and I'm not by the end of the year. She's trying to say that she's gonna surprise Papoose with a baby and stuff like that, right? So he goes in the chat. He goes, Punch, I've been following your channel since you started. Wow. Okay. Okay. And you've been one of the solid ones. Gracias. Gracias. Okay. But now, the consistent negative gossip type content about Clarissa is beneath you, bro. Beneath me. Please stick to the informative and unfiltered boxing content. Okay. I've gotten certain messages like this, right? Especially now that we you know what I'm saying, we've been talking a little bit more about Clarissa Shields and things of that nature, right? And there's certain subscribers or followers that say, yo, Punch, man, come on, man, with the guys, with the Clarissa Shields stuff, mess about blah. Come on, man, stop. Come on, man, get back to boxing. So my brothers like DJ Curtis and others that feel the same way, where are y'all when I'm talking about JoJo, the up-and-coming heavyweight phenom that's out there doing this thing that just won the bronze medal in Bulgaria? Where are you in the comment section when I'm talking about the amateurs? Where are you in the comment section when I'm talking about when I'm making my predictions, when I'm talking about the X's and O's? Where are you in the comment section? Where are you in the comment section when we all talking about strictly boxing technique and all of that? Where are you in the comment section? As a matter of fact, if you've been following Punch on Boxing, DJ Curtis, I'm gonna call you out because you called me out. If you've been following me since the beginning, why you haven't become a member like Tasha? Why you haven't become a member like Caesar, like Cesar? Why you haven't become a member? Why you have where's the donations? Donations. Where's the super chat, super thanks? Since you've been following me from the beginning and you see the grind and stuff like that. I'm tired of people telling me that they've been following me since the beginning, seeing the grind, see how I'm making from 0 subscribers to 110,000 subscribers. From no boxing entity, chopping it up with Punch on Boxing. When I was going live, and I'm going live, and there was 0 people looking on for like a good 45 minutes. Since you've been following me since day one, where are you when I'm talking about the sport of boxing? Not the sport of boxing, when I'm talking about the X's and O's and techniques and skills and the breaking news. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Sufa just signed to Paramount, $7.7 billion. Where are you there? Right? I don't understand, folks. I don't understand. Talk you right, Tasha, right? Like where are you? Because I'm like, let me see if he's keeping it real, if he's keeping it consistent. Let me see you in the comment section of this. I don't see you in the comment section and all of that. So please stop. We talk about everything. I've been talking about everything since day one. When we talking about Javante Tan Davis, you know what I'm saying, manhandling his baby mama and stuff like that. We talk about the bad and we talk about the goods when he reconciled with his baby mama and they threw a birthday party for their daughter and he was and you know what I'm saying, good father and stuff like that. When we talking about what about when we was talking about Earl of True Spence when he had a car accident and stuff like that? We was praying for Earl of True Spence. What about when we was praying for Adrian Broner alcoholism and hope that he overcomes that? Yeah, we talk about certain things that is outside of the rims of the ring in the sport of boxing. I've been keeping it consistent. This ain't negative gossip. This is just me breaking the news. You feel me? Clarissa Shields is the GOAT, right? Clarissa Shields, one of the greatest, or probably the greatest woman to ever lace them up. And she's talking about having a baby. Hey, if she's talking about having a baby, she might be out of commission. I can't talk about it. We talk about everybody else's baby mama. We talk about Devin Haney's baby mama and Young Thug and all that stuff. We can't talk about Papoose that want to come into the sport of boxing. Papoose, who rim record, Salida. They signed Clarissa Shields So we're going to be talking about it just like we talk about any other entity. Just like we talk about the manager, Keith Connolly, securing a deal for Conor Benn with Sufa and Dana White and Turki Alalshikh, TKO. Just like we talk about Al Haymon and Floyd Mayweather. Just like we talk about Bill Haney and Devin Haney. Just like we talk about Teofimo Lopez Sr. and Teofimo. Just like we talk about Rick and the issue and being sued by Golden Boy Promotion, Oscar De La Hoya, the manager of Virgil Ortiz. We talk about everybody. We talk about everything. And we were talking about, oh man, you know what I'm saying? They go into court. That has nothing to do with the X's and O's in the sport of boxing. Just say that, you know what, man? I like this content, but I'm not into this content. So you know what? I'm not going to tune into that content, or it's not for me. But don't say, Punch, I've known you since the beginning, and you are a solid dude. You know my content is solid. We all know it's solid. I know it's solid. I ain't saying nothing out of the. I'm not creating something out of the blue that is not there. Ladies and gentlemen, hold on. Give me a second. Let me say this. Hold on. Give me a second. Give me a second. Come on, man. Come on. Give me a second. Enter. Hold on. Give me a second. Let me put this. And let's say we gossiping or we just breaking the news. Give me a second. Why is not trying to? So Clarissa Shields posted, my man deserves everything. I wish for his B-day I could surprise him with a baby. That's breaking news, damn it. I could talk about it. Huh? They put it in a public forum. Hey, she's a fighter. Huh? She want to have a baby. That means she's probably going to be out of commission. Huh? I want to talk about it. God damn it. Huh? Don't get mad at me. Even though that. and then a person replied to her, girl, he's married. Please be for real. You have an entire legacy to maintain. Please be for real. Simbao is called divorce, goofy ass, and then she's playing the constructive criticism. No, the goofy ass is that your boy, that your best friend is still going through some quote unquote finalizing divorce after 2 years. And you're talking about baby. You should be talking about that. I hope that this guy, get on one knee and gives me a ring and asks me to get married and stuff like that. But he can't even do that because he's not divorced yet. You know what I'm saying? So people just trying to, trying to look out for Clarissa Shields. She don't like people looking out for Clarissa Shields. everything related to boxing, I don't agree with all your topics. I just tune out when I don't like the topic, right? It's simple, right, BK? It's simple. If you don't like the topic, just tune it out. Just tune it out. But the topic right now is what a lot of people in the sport of boxing, especially in the YTBC disc community, has been wishing for the downfall of PBC. Has been wishing for the downfall of Al Haymon. Just a couple of weeks ago, they were saying Floyd Mayweather is suing Steven Espinosa, Showtime, and then everybody would just put their whole energy on the see, Al Haymon had all this money and he's suing Al Haymon and blah 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 and PBC and all this, and they broke and they don't got this and they don't got that. For how long people in the industry are going to be saying? For how long people in this community is going to be saying that PBC is no mas, that PBC is dead? But let me tell you like this. Looking at the landscape in the sport of boxing right now, looking at Bam, check this out, folks. Check this out. Check this out. Checking out that Bam Rodriguez just got signed by Matchroom Boxing. Matchroom Boxing was about to sign Virgil Ortiz for a $16 to $20 million deal, right? We hear that Ryan Garcia, right? Ryan Garcia going back and forth with Devin Haney. Ryan Garcia saying that, basically that we'll see. Basically, we'll see. We hear Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia talk about A-side, B-side negotiations. There's no A-side, B-side negotiation when it comes to Turki Alalshikh. All of a sudden now, the A-side and B-side has resurfaced. Right? Now we're talking about that Rolly Romero manager. Let's take it. Let's go by this. Let's go by this. Give me a sec. Give me a sec. Give me a sec. Devin Haney. Devin Haney says, my father spoke to Lou the Cuba, Rolly's manager. Rumors are true. Let's see if we can get this done. Right? Let's put the pieces together, ladies and gentlemen. Let's put the pieces together. Right? Let's put the pieces together to understand where are we in the sport of boxing in the status of Turki Alalshikh in the sport of boxing? Because be real, let's be honest. Turki Alalshikh have not talked about the Ryan Garcia versus Devin the Dream Haney rematch since before the Times Square card. Think about this, folks. Think about this. And then we're going to be moving forward. Why PBC is taking over 2026, especially in this side of the pond. Let's also not forget that Turki Alalshikh ring seller was supposed to be doing David Benavidez versus Suldo Ramirez, and now PBC is doing David Benavidez and Suldo Ramirez. How they go from Turki seller ring to PBC? I mean, people saying that PBC is no mas. PBC don't got no money. PBC don't got no budget. PBC is dying. Yeah, we're about to get Fundura versus Keith from Tom Thurman as well. And now the PBC, I thought, hold on. Give me a sec. Safety thing out of the way. They saying that PBC is no mas. Yeah, we got David Benavidez versus Suldo Ramirez. We got Fundura versus Thurman. We got the possible matchup between Devin the Dream Haney versus Rolly Romero, offered by PBC. We understand that Gervonta Tank Davis is going to be coming to fight late spring or early summer, just like Calvin Ford said. We know that the Charlo brothers are already training. They're making their comeback. We know that Earl of True Spence is making his comeback as well. So I'm looking at the landscape of 2026 for PBC, and it seems like PBC is about to take over 2026. Nah, and look at these fights. These fights are pretty good to me. I want to know who's going to hate PBC because I know in the YouTube boxing community, I don't understand this hatred for PBC. I don't want to hear, the pay-per-view. Well, we got the zone pay-per-view. We got subscription and pay-per-view. Technique says PBC ain't taking over shit. But guess what? Look what we got. David Benavidez versus Suldo Ramirez. Fundura versus Thurman. We might get Devin Haney versus Rolly Romero. And now we're going back to the terminology before Turki Alalshikh truly hit the scene. We're going back to the traditional way of getting these fights. Think about this. Remember, even Bill Haney and Bill Haney stated before that Turki Alalshikh takes away that A side, B side shenanigans, those promoters in between that's trying to keep people from getting fights and things of that nature. But this is what Devin Haney had to say. Just look at the language. 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 Give me a second. Look at the language. Here, listen to the language.
Realistic in these he has to be realistic in these negotiations. You know, I'm not here to just take anything to get back, you know, whatever. You know, Ryan Garcia, when the ball was in his court, he didn't make weight. He showed up with a positive drug test. It was all over the place. So, you know, we're not going to do it like that time around. We're going to do it the right way. And so if he doesn't want to do it the right way, then we'll move on. Like I said, we'll go on to fight the guy that beat him, and the guy that he doesn't want to rematch. He's not screaming Rolly's name. That's true. So, like I said, if that is the case, then we go on and we fight Rolly. And if Ryan Garcia wants to get realistic, then we can make that fight happen now or later.
So you're saying you would pick
No.
over Talia too?
That was Devin the Dream Haney in his recent interview. He was talking about negotiations with Ryan Garcia. Yeah, think about this, folks. Negotiations, A side, B side. It's like they're going backwards, but didn't they hash all this shit out with Turki Alalshikh? Didn't remember when Devin Haney was suing Ryan Garcia, and then Turki Alalshikh came into play, and then there was a plan for Devin Haney to face Ryan Garcia in a rematch if they take care of business in the Times Square card, in which Ryan Garcia was supposed to be Romero and Devin Haney beat and was supposed to be Jose Ramirez, that then moved forward to September or October for the rematch. Then the VADA situation got taken care of. The A and B side got taken care of. And we all know that Ryan Garcia was going to be the A side. If there was a side, put it this way, if there was a side, I don't believe that there was a side, but if there was a side, we understood that going into the Times Square card, Ryan Garcia was the main event versus Rolly Romero, and Devin Haney was playing second fiddle, co-main to Ryan Garcia, and Teofimo Lopez was the third fiddle. So just by looking at the Times Square card, everybody was on the same page that Ryan Garcia is that guy, right? He didn't have a belt, coming off suspension, coming off popping dirty, coming off unprofessionalism, coming off even dissing Turki Alalshikh and Muslims, saying that all Muslims are pedos and all that. You remember? And still, Ryan Garcia managed to be the headliner to the Times Square card, right? So we already understood. This is them before that Times Square card. So everything was hashed out. Everything was hashed out. Why now this negotiations? Why now the VADA stuff? Why now all of this? You know why? You know why, ladies and gentlemen? And I could be wrong, but I'm only breaking it down unbiasedly, logically, and objectively. And breaking it down unbiasedly, logically, and objectively doesn't mean that I'm going to be right, but doesn't mean I'm going to be wrong. But it's going to make a lot of sense. Turki Alalshikh got 1 foot in the door and 1 foot out the door in the sport of boxing. That's what's telling me. Because put it this way, if Devin Haney is already working with Turki Alalshikh and going to get a big fight, remember they're supposed to have a 3-fight deal, right? That was the thing, the 3-fight deal. Remember the 3-fight deal? Why would Devin Haney even entertain a Rolly Romero PBC offer? Why the language now is changing? We didn't hear Turki Alalshikh talk about, after the Times Square card, a rematch between Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney. We haven't even heard Turki Alalshikh talk about the Virgil Ortiz versus Jerome Boots Ennis. Guess who was negotiating that deal? Matchroom Boxing and Oscar De La Hoya Golden Boy Promotions. Y'all forgot? Where's Turki in that? Where's Turki in the David Benavidez and Suldo Ramirez? Where's Turki in the Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia? ladies and gentlemen, I believe right now that Turki Alalshikh got 1 foot in and 1 foot out the door in the sport of boxing. Thus, who's going to take over the big fights? I ain't talking about the little fights because Dana White's going to do his thing. Shout out to Sufa. I support. I want them to do well. Remember, I just said I want every entity to do well. I want Turki to do well, Sella to do well, Dana to do well, TKO to do well, Top Rank to do well. Hopefully they get an exclusive promotional network deal. Hopefully I want Golden Boy Promotion to get their deal, Matchroom Boxing to be where they at and still elevate the sport of boxing, still elevate. I want Most Valuable Promotion to keep on doing their thing. Shout out to Nakisa, shout out to Jake Paul, shout out to Amanda Serrano, shout out to everyone, even Winning Records. I want everybody, Pro Box TV, I want everybody to do their thing. Misfits, I want everybody to do their thing to elevate the sport of boxing and keep the sport of boxing relevant. I think that now Turki is probably going to be looking at other sports. Remember, we've been talking about this for a while. Remember when was the next Reha season fight? When's the next Reha season event? Anybody? Anybody in the chat can help me out? When is the next Reha season event? Maybe the Prince said, you know what? We have a bunch of this fight and none of these fights overwhelm me. Let's go to some other sports. Let's go to soccer, football. Let's put our money where we're going to be entertained. Anybody can help me out? Am I missing something? When is the next Reha season card? Anybody can help me out? Why things just a year ago was so easy, and now Golden Boy, Matchroom negotiating a Boots and Virgil. What happened to the Turki Alalshikh giving that fight to Virgil and Boots? He said that's the next that's a ring seller. That's the next Reha season card. Tyson Fury versus that guy, whoever that guy is, and Conor Benn versus Regis Prograis. Ladies and gentlemen, PBC is taking over the sport of boxing, especially in this side of the pond. Yes. PBC taking over, folks. PBC taking over. Especially in this side of the pond. Hey, I'm all for it anyway. I don't give a damn. I'm all for it. I'm a boxing fan. Give me Rolly and a unification bout of Rolly Romero and Devin the Dream Haney. Give me that unification bout. Give me Devin. Give me Ryan. I don't care. I'm just telling y'all, folks, that all that money is either that money is not going to be given out like it used to be given out. You're going to have to go through you want to do business with, right? You got to go through the Dana White and Sufa and TKO if you want to do business with us. He said Fundura versus Thurman is not it, Punch. What do you mean it's not it? For me, it is. Keep on Tom Thurman. Only lost so many Pacquiao. Maybe y'all lost y'all interest on Thurman. Not me. Not me. Not me. Keep on Tom Thurman is still that guy to me. Fundura is still one of the guys in the 154-pound division. And that's what I mean. Or BK, let's stop shrinking our sport. What do you mean Fundura versus Thurman is not it? Why is not? Why is not it? Well, what were you supposed to watch? Just, okay, let's watch Earl Spence and Bud, and that's it. There's nothing left for Bud and Earl Spence because that's the fight that we wanted to watch. No, it's a sport. At the end of the day, he said not a good fight. Thurman done. I don't know. His last fight, he got a KO. And before that, how he's done. Let him be done so we could say he's done. See, that's what's wrong with us in boxing. That's what's wrong. So Brian Mendoza can knock out Fundura, but Keith Tom Thurman can't do what Brian Mendoza could do. He can't give Fundura a run for his money. It's Fundura in any pound for pound list currently right now, ladies and gentlemen. we always shit and devalue everything before it happens. Then we're the same community that be like, I don't want to see that fight. I don't want to see that fight. I don't want to see no Tank versus Roach. Fuck that Tank versus Roach, man. Tank is going to knock out Roach. Man, Tank is going to knock out Roach in the third round, man. It ain't going to be, man, PBC and shit. PBC and, whoa, Romero just gave Gervonta Tank Davis a run for his money. Like, we don't even like we gotta okay, let's make predictions, but now our you know what's wrong now? That we're predicting fights not to be made. We're doing everything possible for a fight not to be made. We devalue. He's done. He's finished. I don't want to see that fight. He's done. Everybody done. Everybody done. Everybody done. Yo, what about Errol Spence coming back to favor? He done. He done. I don't want to see Virgil Errol Spence. I don't want to see it. Everybody done. He done. He done. You know, say Ryan Garcia, Mario back. Oh, come on, man. He got a two draws, man. He going Mario back. I support the reconstruction and rebranding. Yep. Hold on, let me put that picture up. Y'all gotta be a fool not to see what I'm seeing. Y'all gotta be a fool not to see what I'm seeing. Is Sula Ramirez versus David Benavidez a good fight? Or y'all gonna be like, no. I want Benavidez in open tie right now. Shout out to the co-mains as well. I want to see open time. I don't want to see Sula Ramirez. I don't want to see it. Why these big fights is being directed back to PBC. Let's also not forget that Canelo Alvarez versus Jake Paul was going to be a PBC MVP Canelo promotion event. And it was Turkey that stopped Canelo Alvarez from fighting Jake Paul, in which I know now Canelo Alvarez is saying to his mind, ¿por qué yo hice eso? Yo pedía peleas a Jake Paul y me ganabas todas las agentes. Y después peleabas a Bob Crawford. Esos tipos me mandaron allá para Saudi Arabia para pelear a William Scott. Todavía no los conozco. Think about it, folks. Turki Alalshikh had David Benavidez in the palm of his hands, and David Benavidez right back to PBC. Turki Alalshikh has Devin Haney in the palm of his hands, and we got Devin Haney entertaining an offer for PBC. I mean, look, shout out to the Haneys. They've always been working with everybody. Think about it. Devin Haney show box, Devin Haney Matchroom, Golden Boy Promotions, Top Rank to get the Undisputed. You know what I'm saying? Matchroom, the Pro Grace. He went back to Matchroom and get the Pro Grace fight, doing the Turki Alalshikh card with the likes of Jose Ramirez, Brian Norman Jr., and now going to PBC and get this Rolly Romero. I like the way that Bill Haney has constructed the career of his son, because it's always open to do business with everybody and anybody, and always in the position to get a big fight or at least a legacy fight. Got to give a lot of shout out to Bill Haney to orchestrate the career of Devin the Dream Haney. And I know there's a lot of fighters that wished that their career could have been orchestrated that same way. And we're just in the early part of 2026. Gervonta Tank Davis is going to come back, and which is still going to elevate the name of PBC. Hopefully he's going to be with PBC. We don't know, but I think it's going to be with PBC. And then we got Charlo coming back, and we got Errol Spence coming back. We don't know what's going to be the winner, Fundora and Thurman. Let's say if Thurman beats Fundora, then it's going to be a Thurman versus Errol Spence in the summer. Fundora win. Let's not forget that Earl Spence step inside of the ring. Fundora may be next for Spence. Let's also not forget that Golden Boy Promotion is also working with PBC as well. Look at this card. David Benavidez versus Suda Ramirez. And let's not forget that they have said that they're willing to do a virtual tease versus Earl the Truth Spence in Dallas, in which if that's a PBC Golden Boy Promotion call, we all know that that's going to do 60,000 plus in Dallas Stadium. Now, of course, the Manny Pacquiao versus Floyd Mayweather is not going to be with PBC or nothing like that, because of course Floyd Mayweather, as we all heard, is not suing PBC, but it's suing Steven Espinoza and Showtime, not suing PBC. So it's funny how people like to link PBC into Mayweather suing Showtime and Steven Espinoza. Ain't nobody was saying that he's suing Al Haymon. Even though they want to attach that, he ain't suing Al Haymon. He ain't suing Tom Brown. He ain't suing none of these guys. He ain't suing Smith. Now, Floyd Mayweather is not. They're not doing the Manny Pacquiao. That's a different company they're doing it with. But I won't be surprised if he's being advised by both of these guys is being advised by Al Haymon, because Al Haymon, remember, he was already in connections with Netflix. Al Haymon was in connections with Netflix before Turki Alalshikh got a connection with Netflix. So, ladies and gentlemen, the new takeover, the rebrand, the reconstruction, like my brother said in the chat, PBC is back running shit in this side of the pond. PBC is back running ish in this side of the pond. Let's also not forget that it was a PBC product with Ryan Garcia in that ring. And yeah, it was a Turkey ring card and stuff like that, right? But it was a PBC product. All I'm saying now, ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. PBC is going to take over. If Devin, and I actually do think that this fight with Devin Haney and Rolly Romero is actually going to materialize. I think it's going to be finalized. I think so. I'm listening to the energy. I'm listening to Bill Haney in his interviews. I just listened to Devin Haney. It doesn't seem like they're going to get this Ryan Garcia fight. And let's be real, let's be honest. Leading up to the Shakur Stevenson versus Teofimo Lopez fight, you know what I'm saying? The Haneys already said that they was not going to entertain a Ryan Garcia fight because of the VADA and stuff like that. I've spoken to Devin Haney during the weigh-in or before the weigh-in. He was out there in Madison Square Garden. And I'm like, yo, who you going to fight next? He said, man, I'll fight anybody. Yeah, I'll fight Shakur, Teo. He thought that Shakur was going to win. I said that Teo was going to win. He also stated that he doesn't see the next fight being Ryan Garcia. When I spoke to Bill Haney said there's gonna be that is a short turnaround to get that fight in May. I think the May 30th date is an official date. But also, ladies and gentlemen, don't be surprised if Virgil Ortiz versus Jerome Bruce Ennis is also seeking a May 30th date. There's going to be something. If it's not Devin Haney versus Rolly Romero May 30th, it's going to be something big in May 30th. And it probably could be Virgil Ortiz versus Jerome Bruce Ennis. Hey, if Turkey want to get in the mix, get that Virgil Ortiz versus Jerome Bruce Ennis and Rolly Romero versus Devin Haney in the same card. Woo! But I think there's be a PBC card right here. I think it's be a PBC card, a Devin Haney versus Rolly Romero, and have probably Jamel Charlo right back in the ring as a co-main versus anybody or tune-up or whatever. Man, they should get the Devin Haney versus Rolly Romero and the co-main event. At least have Charlo versus Demetrius Andre. That'll be lit. That'll be lit. That'll be lit. Hold on. Give me a second. And you see, look, when we talking about boxing, where's that guy on my comment section that say, yo, Punch, talk about more about boxing. Don't talk about the Clarissa Shields gossip stuff. Where are y'all? Where you at? Where are you, Curtis? Talking boxing right now. See, a lot of people just be capping. They be capping. He said, Keith know my Thurman. Nah, watch. You gonna see. Keith Thurman. I got Keith Thurman winning. Yeah, I'll be honest. I'm rooting for Thurman. I'm just rooting for because he's one of my favorite fighters. I'm rooting for him. I'm not making the prediction but I'm rooting for him to win. When is Boo Boo Andre returning? He's been in training, man. He's just waiting for that opportunity, man. He's waiting for the solid opportunity. He's waiting for a solid opportunity. But I like this. I like this. Let me see what Devin Haney or Rolly Romero was saying. You know, he said Rolly was not capping. He did receive an offer. Let's see.
I'm the guy who's number one in the division. I'm the guy who beat the best guy in the division. He beat the worst guy in the division. I'm the guy on the pound for pound list. So if anybody's A side, it's me.
See, Devin Haney saying if anybody's the A side, it's him. But was there? But they already. But ladies and gentlemen, they already had their deal here. A side and B side was not a factor before the Times Square card. Meaning that if a Ryan Garcia versus Devin Haney rematch is going to take place, it has nothing to do with Turkey anymore. So they're going back to the A side, B side type of negotiations. Because let me tell you like this, Ryan Garcia, and if they was dealing with Turkey, Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney would not be dealing together, making deals and negotiating deals. No, Devin Haney is making his deal directly with Turkey, and he doesn't know exactly the ins and outs of the, or he doesn't know the figures of Ryan Garcia, because Ryan Garcia will be making his own negotiations and his own deal with Turki Alalshikh. See, all these guys said the same thing. You know what I'm saying? There's not a negotiations. It's like when Tio and Shakur, Tio was making his deal with Turkey and his representative, and Shakur Stevenson is making his deal with Turkey. There isn't a negotiation. There's no A side, B side bullshit. There's none of that. They're not negotiating, yo, Shakur, I'm the A side and you the B side. No, dealing with Turkey, Turkey took that out. So now that Devin Haney is talking about the A side and Ryan Garcia is talking about the B side shit, it's because now they're negotiating. It has nothing to do with Turkey. So as a boxing fan, what do you feel about that? In the chat, what do you feel about that? Turki Alalshikh is just not going to fund any fight anymore. I think he put all his eggs on that Canelo Alvarez and Bud Crawford, and Turkey hasn't been the same. Yeah, we got some big fights. Yeah, he did the Japanese and stuff like that. I just feel like Turkey, I feel like the fighters have not given Turkey what he expected. With all the money he's thrown out there, I don't think that boxing has quenched, in terms of entertainment, have quenched his thirst. I don't know what performance he could be. Maybe the Usyk and Daniel Dubois, but was Usyk and Daniel Dubois a Turkey card? I don't think so. I don't think Usyk and Dubois was a Turkey card. Let me see. Dubois. Was that a Turkey card? The second fight? Let me see. I know he got the Rico with Turkey in him. See, that's Frank Warren. That was a Queensbury Frank Warren. That was not a Turkey card. It was? Doesn't say right here, not the second one. Let's see. Who showcase? I forgot. It was not a Turkey card. It was not a Turkey card. Oh. Okay, based on the report, Turkey and Rihasis were involved in the promotion of Alexander Usyk rematch, which took place in one. Okay, okay. It was a Turkey, Tyson Fury, da, da, da. But it doesn't say here. The brand doesn't say here. It's not Sulla. But anyway, I just think that Turkey is 1 foot in and 1 foot out the door in the sport of boxing already. I think that I think a lot of fighters, a lot of entity took advantage. They should have took a better advantage of the opportunity and the money that Turki Alalshikh was given. I don't think performance wise it overwhelmed Turki Alalshikh. I think he learned a lot of things in the sport of boxing that, you know what, man, the business is just too hectic and is not as easy as any other sport that's governed and stuff like that. And that's why I believe that TKO and Dana White and Suf is going to take over, and then I think little by little Turki Alalshikh is going to be in the back or whatever. And there's a big fight. He'll do whatever it takes to make the fight that he truly wants. But if he's not trying to get the Boots and the Virgil and the Ryan and the Devin, it's either he'll make that fight if there's no Golden Boy Promotions in the mix, and maybe that's why he will probably deal with the Ryan and the Devin, or I don't know. It's kind of weird. It's just kind of weird right now. But it's not weird that now they're gonna be taking over. You know what I'm saying? I think it's kind of light. If anybody want to chop it up, man, I'll send the link, bro. Anybody want to chop it up, I'll send the link. Yeah, we need that. If anybody want to get their insight on this, man, I'll send the link for a while. If anybody want to chop it up. The support is kind of light today. What else we got in the sport of boxing? We got Devin Haney chopping it up with Eddie Hearn, but I don't think he's dealing with Eddie Hearn and stuff like that. Who's this? Yeah, they don't got a divorce. All good. We still here, bro. Respect the grind, man. Yeah, man. I mean, look, man, it's not too much to talk as much. So, man, if people don't want to chop it up, it's kind of light today. Not too much of engagement today. Probably tomorrow we talk about something else. Tomorrow we back at it. Tomorrow we back at it. I don't see a lot of engagements, the numbers, the views, the engagement. Nobody want to jump the panel. So tomorrow we back at it. Love y'all. God bless.